Uh, Good evening. My name is Bryant Sikorsky. I'm a financial planner and wealth advisor with Stratos Wealth Partners. I'm an independent financial advisor, meaning that I have my own, company myself. And what I try to do, in addition to helping individuals throughout the area by guest speaking at different venues, I've been starting up to do more of these webinars. I've used to do a lot more in-person seminars, but I find that we all like to stay home and we're ordering everything online. And so I've been doing more and more webinars as opposed to in-person seminars. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see when the population of webinar attendees exceeds that of seminar attendees. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Social Security, and we're going to give you some information both about what has transpired in the last few years that have radically changed strategies that are appropriate for Social Security, and also share with you at least one or two that still exist. But there have been really quite significant changes in recent history. Kind of to just, I guess, begin things, a lot of people don't realize how many U.S. workers are covered by Social Security. It's actually over 96% of U.S. workers, and that's really quite interesting when we think about when Social Security was first put into place during the Roosevelt administration. Literally only about a third to maybe 40% of all Americans were covered. So over the last 50 years, a lot of changes have also taken place, which have brought in farm workers, women, the disabled, children to be covered by Social Security, which was not the case at the outset. So according to the Social Security Administration, about 163 million people work and pay Social Security taxes today. As of 2015, more than 59 million Americans received $870 billion in benefits. But the thing that I will tell you quite honestly surprised me a little bit. I hadn't seen this number recently, but nearly 73% received reduced benefits in exchange for taking them and collecting them early, which I will have to be honest with you, I didn't realize it was that high. So today what we're going to do is talk about Social Security and the essential basics. We're going to talk a little bit about the benefits and options, and just for sake of completeness, I'm going to briefly go through a couple of strategies that used to exist that no longer are available. Just in case you hear about it, you'll know that those were suspended. Someone may come to you and say, oh, hey, I heard about this. At least you'll say, no, I understand that Congress did away with that. When I say strategies to consider, they've reduced the number of the strategies that were available, but there are still, I'd say more importantly, decisions that you need to make that can have significant impact to you and your family. So I would almost change this from strategies to decisions if you really come down to it. So we're going to talk about that as well. And what kind of next steps should you take for your own personal situation. Oh, before I forget, I'll also share with you that I am going to record this webinar. And so when it's done, you will get an email and it will have a replay available on it that you can link to if you want to go back and watch this again. And I'm also going to show you at the end of the presentation how you can go to my YouTube channel and watch this or any other videos that I've done as well. Okay? All right. So to become eligible for Social Security, basically, you need to have 40 quarters of wages in which you were subject to and paid Social Security payroll taxes. Now, these quarters do not have to be consecutive. And this one, this last point is one that I get asked all the time is, well, what if I had 5 years where I was not working or I took care of a loved one? So they're based on the average of the 35 highest years of earnings. So I guess if you worked, 45 years in your lifetime, there could be a time when that get dropped, essentially, get dropped because you've worked maybe 45 years or 40 or 45 years, and they're only averaging the 35 highest years of earnings. Okay. And then we do also have a cost of living, which is not on the screen here, a cost of living provision. And it actually has its own unique formula. And it's actually based on increases in the, here's only in the government, the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. And this thing called the CPIW is calculated on a monthly basis by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So there is a cost of living provision to Social Security that, again, is probably a question I get asked quite a bit. So we're going over a couple of basic, I admit, real basics here, but again, because of the audience, we have some experts and some that aren't experts. Okay, so let's look at a couple of key terms here. And the first one is the concept of full retirement age. Full retirement age is the age when you are eligible for full benefits. And it's important to remember that for most people, full retirement age is between age 65 and 67, not 62. 62 is the age at which you can first start taking, but here's the key word, reduced benefits. The primary, so you can see on this chart on the left-hand side, what they've done also is they've kind of done a modicum of increases in eligibility or delay of eligibility as a function of longevity. So if you're born in 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66, whereas it's 1960 or later, it's 67. Not much of a longevity factor put in there, just a little bit. And then the second thing that is a key term is the concept of a primary insurance amount. And this is a little bit confusing because technically speaking, your eligibility is not just a rote factor of your age. It's a combination, and what you actually get is you get credits, and then those credits play into what your benefits are. So it's a little bit convoluted, a little bit like the tax code, but your primary insurance amount is a calculation based on your earnings and years worked, as well as estimates of what you will receive if you elect to begin receiving benefits at full retirement age. So again, at full retirement age, the benefit is neither reduced for early retirement nor increased in any way for a delayed retirement. So keep that in mind for just a minute, and then we're going to get to where you see that starts to have an impact. So number one, if you remember anything at all, remember that concept of full retirement age. So in this chart, we show this person in the middle in the green whose full retirement age is age 66. Now you can see if this person instead elected to start receiving benefits at age 62, instead of receiving the full retirement age benefit of $2,000 a month for life, they would only get $1,500 a month for life. That's a pretty big change, a pretty big drop. And once this election is taken as an individual, it cannot be changed. So there is no do-overs. There actually used to be, and they did away with that. It used to be, which we don't really cover here because it's actually a little bit dated, but there was a point in time that if you had started to take benefits at age 62 and you changed your mind within, I think, the first year, you could actually pay it all back and then hold out and wait till 66 or 65 or whatever your full retirement age is. So we saw in that very first slide, which I thought was incredible, that 73% of all beneficiaries are taking this age 62 benefit as opposed to waiting until age 66 and getting their full benefit. Now, full benefit maybe sounds like a misnomer, because conversely, if you, instead of taking benefits early, if you wait until age 70, and let me reiterate, this age 62 and this age 70 has no relation to your full retirement age. So if your full retirement age is 65 or 65 and 10 months, you're still in that green bar there, but you will not receive more. I mean, you can't wait till age 72 and get more benefits. Once you get to 70, that's it. And it doesn't really matter what your full retirement age is. So if I had a full retirement age at 66, I would get $2,000 a month. If I elected to receive benefits early at age 62, I would get $1,500 a month. If I elect to wait until age 70, I would get about 8% more per year from age 66 to age 70. So you can see I'm going to get $2,640, about $1,140 more per month. So really big changes or big differences there, depending on whether you take early or late, delayed receipt of benefits. So what's the, for lack of a better word, break-even point? So you can see here, if you start out at age 62, that's that gray line, and then again our 66 in the green line, and then someone who waited until age 70, which is getting a greater amount of benefit. That's why the slope is steeper. You can see that all of those break-evens kind of start to take place right around age 78 to 82, and then thereafter, it's the folks who at least wait till full retirement age or delayed until age 70 really reap the benefits. So if you have longevity in your genes and you can at all afford to do it, it might make sense to wait at least until full retirement age, if not until age 70. I actually had a client who was planning to, work and then consult, and therefore, told me as part of our his financial plan we put together that he would not take benefits until age 70. And then he had a significant illness, a certain types of cancer that has a high, return rate. And so he elected to quit working altogether because he had some concerns about his longevity, and he elected to take Social Security at 62. So we'll see here too on this next slide here that, again, one of the decisions, one of the factors plays into life expectancy. So from a macro level, I'd say the first thing you need to think about is, how long do people live in your family? Again, assuming that you don't desperately need those benefits just to feed and clothe yourself, but assuming you have the discretion of waiting or not, longevity and genetics plays a pretty big role. There's going to be a couple other big decisions that are going to impact your thoughts as well that we'll get to in just a minute. But I'd say number one, reflect upon longevity in your family. Okay. So over 59 million people received Social Security benefits at the end as of 2015, of which a large percentage were retirees. If we wait until age 70, clients, again, as I mentioned, could earn up to 8% more per year until age 70. So this kind of shows us the curve of very few people waiting until age 70. I mean, 2% of men and 4% of women. Very interesting. Again, I was admittedly a little bit surprised. I had not visited a couple of these numbers for a while. So here we reflect this too. This and also this slide deck, if you will, was provided to me by Fidelity Investments. Since I'm an independent financial advisor, I have the latitude of using, slide decks, if you will, from insurance companies, mutual fund companies. I don't have to use just, quote, my company. So I kind of go out there and try to find out. I evaluated about 3 or 4 different presentations that were available from different mutual fund companies, and I found that that this one was, I think, the most succinct. Now, this is really interesting. It says in the Fidelity study, only 12% of respondents said they collected benefits early because they needed to. Wow. So that means they financially really didn't take it, but for some reason felt compelled to, not for financial reasons. Did they think it was going to go away? Did they think it was going to become means tested? Did they think they were going to die? Very interesting. So again, this is perhaps a little bit surprising. Now here's another key one that most people may not, or many people have not heard about. And that is, okay, we mentioned number 1, longevity, genetics, how long you're going to live, okay? And I think a number of people make their decision solely based on that factor, or in the back of their mind, a concern about, is the system going to not pay? Is it going to go bankrupt? Are they going to run out of funds, et cetera, et cetera? So I'd say, longevity is number 1, but I'd say a number of people overlook this altogether. And here's a key is, if you are still working and you have not reached full retirement age, if you earn over $15,720 per year, for every $2 that you earn over this limit, $1 of your benefit will be withheld. So I don't know, let's be kind of, intense here and say that, let's assume that you're eligible for, $24,000 a year in benefits, but if you earn, $30,000, that's about $15,000 that's going to be withheld from that benefit. So you could really do yourself a disservice. Now, in the year in which you are going to reach your full retirement age birthday, if you will, up until prior to that date, then anything that you earn over $41,880, for every $3 over the limit, $1 is withheld until you reach your full retirement age. Wow. So key here, think about this. If your if your full retirement age is 66 and you elect to take benefits at 62, for every $2 above $15,720 that you earn, $1 is going to be withheld in benefits. And in that year, when you are going to turn 66, for every $3 over the limit, $1 is withheld. So that can really have a huge impact on your benefit. After full retirement age, not a problem. You can work and earn all the money you want and continue to receive your full benefit. Now, even if you are fully retired, your benefits may still be taxed depending on the amount of your provisional income. Here's another word, provisional income. Your provisional income includes 1/2 of your Social Security benefits plus your modified adjusted gross income, which you fill out on your tax return. So you can reduce this exposure by making sure that your money is in IRAs or Roth IRAs or annuities or any kind of, maybe tax-free municipal bond investments. But you can see that if you're single, or let's say you're married here, you're married, and your provisional income is above $44,000. Okay, even though you're retired, you're receiving income from investments, let's say, and you add the half of your Social Securities, then up to 85% of your Social Security would be taxable. So all of a sudden now, gee, this is starting to sound a little more complicated. I knew I had to make that decision about full retirement age. Then I had to make a decision about working and receiving benefits, and would my benefits be withheld? Now I've got another whole decision I've got to make about what is my portfolio, what is my retirement portfolio going to look like, and if it is not structured appropriately, it could very significantly reduce my benefit by making up to 85% of it taxable. So provisional income includes, again, as I mentioned, half of your Social Security benefits. Oh, I made a mistake here. I mentioned municipal bonds. Please scratch that. Those are included. My fault. I should have just exclusively limited that to things like retirement accounts, including IRAs, Roth IRAs, and annuities, because all of these components go into your income: wages, business income, interest, capital gains, dividends, distributions from IRAs, from traditional IRAs, not Roth IRAs. That's a good point. So again, this gets a little more complicated. Holy cow. This is interesting that tax-deferred buildup in retirement accounts, income from Roth IRAs. Well, maybe I should be funding my Roth IRA more significantly today than I am, or maybe even exploiting life insurance as a savings vehicle, so that come down the road, if I want to supplement my retirement, I don't negatively impact my Social Security benefits, because I'm going to get the preponderance of my income, my retirement income, from Roth IRAs and maybe life insurance. So again, wow, I'm seeing more and more decisions here every page that I have to make. Now, if you're married and you collect early, your spousal benefits are reduced as well. So based on when you collect, spousal benefits can impact the total amount taken home. If you collect before full retirement age, then spousal benefits will be reduced. So this just kind of shows here that if, number one, at full retirement age, either spouse can collect up to 1/2 of their spouse's benefit. So if there's a scenario where one spouse is eligible for $400 a month and the other spouse is eligible for $2,000 a month, the $400 a month spouse, instead of collecting their own $400, can collect 1/2 of their spouse's $2,000 and actually get $1,000 a month. But if that $2,000 a month spouse starts collecting early and instead gets $1,500 a month by taking money early, then the $400 a month spouse, instead of potentially getting $1,000 a month, can only get $750. So again, another decision here is if the spouse with the highest benefit, allowed, or highest benefit credit, can significantly impact the lower benefit spouse if he or she, and it works both ways, elects to start collecting benefits early. More decisions. So this is just a kind of what we're trying to look at here is a difference of what happens between married couples collecting at age 62, 68, and 70. So we're going to look at these benefits if they decided to start collecting when they're both age 62 at full retirement age of 66, or if they wait until they're both age 70. And in this rather simplified scenario, the higher earnings working spouse lives to 84, and the lower earning spouse lives to age 89. So their benefits over their retirement lifetimes until the lower earning spouse passes away can change quite dramatically. For example, if the couple starts taking benefits at 62, the total they're going to receive over their lifetimes is $639,900. If they start taking benefits at 66, they'll get $729,600. And if they wait until age 70, the benefit total is $771,408. So I mean, like $32,000 in difference. That's a lot of SOFA change. So it's worth noting that delaying taking Social Security benefits is potentially even more effective when the lower earning spouse earns about 50% or more of the higher earning spouse's Social Security benefit. So if the couple lives beyond the life expectancy assumptions in this example, and we used 84 and 89, then the value of delaying grows even more in importance. So I guess if there's anything you take away from this, again, I'm kind of beating the dead horse here, is if there's any way you can wait until age 70, it sure seems like a good idea, right? Now, this is the big bugaboo I was going to tell you about, and this is the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015. This act increased government spending for 2 years in 2015 and raised the federal borrowing limit. However, these increases were made possible by cuts to Social Security. So two very, very juicy and popular strategies called file and suspend and restricted application were eliminated. So these are not eligible anymore. So we're going to take a look at what they were, kind of just so you know, and then we've already, I think, covered enough decisions that you have to make, but we're going to talk about one last strategy that falls under all of this. Okay, so what this file and suspend that we had was really best for couples with different earnings histories and a lower earning spouse is ready to retire. So again, doesn't exist as of May 1st, 2016, or the Bipartisan Act. Another one was called the restricted application, and this was ideal for couples who can initially take lower benefits. And then finally was the maximizing the survivor benefit. And this still is in existence. And this is when the younger spouse is expected to outlive the older spouse and has a lower primary insurance amount at full retirement age. So let's take a look at this. Now, we're going to talk about file and suspend here. Kind of just listen to it and forget it because it doesn't exist anymore. But just in case somebody says, hey, you know, I hear I can do this. What file and suspend does is we have a scenario where Bob is at his full retirement age is 66 and he is 66, and Mary is age 62. So Bob is eligible to receive $2,000 at full retirement age. Mary is eligible to receive $400 at full retirement age, reflecting a limited work history. However, Mary wants to retire now. As a result of her early retirement, she is eligible for only $300 a month. Again, because she's going to take it early. And Bob wants to continue working. So what used to be able to be done was Bob could file and suspend his Social Security benefit. Mary could file at 62 and take Bob's, the benefit she got from Bob. So she got 300 of her own benefit and 420 of spousal benefit. So instead of her, you can see where her true benefit was $400 by virtue of Bob filing and suspending and Mary taking spousal. She's now had the ability to start receiving $720 a month. Now you know why this was eliminated. So this worked best with couples with different earnings history where the lower, here's a key, where the lower earning spouse wants to retire. Okay, so doesn't exist anymore, but you can see why that was so popular and why it was so important to know about it, which not everybody took the time to learn about it. The second strategy is called restricted application. And this is a scenario where if you reach full retirement age and you're ready to retire with your spouse, you could achieve a gain in payments by initially claiming spousal benefits, allowing your own benefits to grow, and then switching later. So this is most useful if your benefits at full retirement age are higher than your spouse's benefits, but not so much higher that your spouse would be better off with the Social Security spousal benefit. So in this example, Laura is 66. She's eligible for $2,000 per month now. Greg is 62 and due to collect $1,000 a month at full retirement age. If they both retire now and take benefits, she'll get her $2,000 and he'll receive $750 for a total of $2,750 a month. But suppose Laura claims only a spousal benefit now and delays taking benefits until age 70. That means initially they will get just $1,250 a month. That's his $750 plus her $500, because she gets 50% of his $1,000 full retirement benefit, not 50% of the reduced benefit. But in 4 years, Laura's monthly benefit will jump to $2,640 based on her work history, giving the couple a total of $3,390 a month. So what you're kind of doing is you're taking a lower payment today in exchange for a much higher payment down the road. So again, I want to emphasize neither one of these strategies are available anymore, but just in case you hear about this concept of file and suspend or restricted application, be mindful that they no longer exist. Okay. So what kind of things do you need to start thinking about? Well, you got to think about, what types of claiming strategies are going to be, applicable for you. Scenario one, the husband has a work record. Wife has either no or a low Social Security benefit. If the husband is at full retirement age, we can see in the old strategy, it would have made sense for him to file and suspend. In scenario 2, again, we see a file and suspend. Scenario 3, a single person, a file and suspend. Scenario 4 was a file and suspend. I'm sorry, but none of these are available anymore. But you can see, I guess, the reason I wanted to show them to you was how complicated that decision and how impactful that decision could be under these two other strategies. Okay? Now, the only other strategy that really exists anymore is the concept of maximizing the survivor benefit. So, this addresses two key points: the importance of maximizing the survivor benefit, and if you're trying to maximize your cumulative lifetime benefit, the life expectancy of you and your spouse should be considered, even if only one has qualified for a worker benefit. And so here's how it works. When one party dies, let's say it's the husband in this scenario, and he dies at age 85, the wife is eligible to receive the husband's monthly Social Security payment as a survivor benefit. This is even if she was eligible for nothing at all. So we've got this example here where both are about to turn age 62. John is eligible to receive $2,000 a month from Social Security when he reaches his full retirement age of 66, and he believes he's going to live to be up to age 85. Now again, Claire is going to get $1,000 of her at her full retirement age and anticipates living to age 94. Because they're claiming early, both amounts are reduced. John's by 25% and Claire's by 30%. Now John realizes that his decision to take payments at 62 will reduce his wife's benefits for the time period she expects to outlive him. If John waits to collect benefits till age 66, he'll get $2,000 a month. So the bottom line here is not only does your own selection impact you, it impacts your spouse upon your death. So that's a lot of people, again, take these benefits early, and then a spouse dies and they're like, holy cow, I could have received $2,000 a month for the rest of my life, instead I'm only getting $1,000. So your decisions have huge impact. A couple of other considerations too. The windfall elimination provision reduces or eliminates benefits for individuals who earned a pension not covered by Social Security. So, you might want to just ensure that if you do have a pension, that it is covered. 2 is government pension offset. So this reduces spousal or survivor benefits for individuals who earned a pension not covered by Social Security. And then we also have to think about other beneficiaries, including former spouses, parents, children, and other dependents. So if you, well, I guess the moral of the story here is the saying is that most people do not rely exclusively on Social Security and retirement. So, there are still people who have pensions, Social Security, earnings, and then savings and investments. I thought it was kind of interesting because if you looked at these kind of charts, maybe 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, there was this concept, maybe in my father's generation, where you worked for 30 years and got your gold watch and you turned 65 and you quit. There was none of this part-time earnings crud, and you moved to Florida and died in about 2 to 3 years. So a big difference in life expectancy. You got to be looking at things from a different perspective. So if you meet with a financial advisor, you want to look at a retirement budget. You want to develop a written plan with milestones. You want to have regular check-ins because, you know, time flies. And so we want to make sure that you don't have a surprise at the end. And I can't tell you the number of times people have, you know, talked to me and said, you know, hey, look, I'm 60 and I'm retiring in 5 or 10 years. You know, what can I do? I mean, it's never too late, but the earlier the better. I think I saw a cartoon that I've got it on my computer somewhere, but it shows a guy meeting with his financial advisor, and the client says, or the prospect says to the advisor, I'm 65 years old, or I'm 64 years old, I'm retiring in a year, and I haven't saved a dime. Here's your opportunity to become famous. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So just real quick, I mentioned earlier this windfall elimination provision. Again, you can take a look at this a little bit later, but I guess it would just compel me to take a look. If you do have any kind of pension, make sure that you determine whether it's covered by Social Security or not. And then 2, with this government pension offset, again, just check to make sure you truly understand what your benefits are, and then they're not negatively impacted by some kind of pension. Other beneficiaries. So a spouse age 62 of age or older, a spouse at any age, if that spouse is caring for their child younger than age 16 or disabled, former spouses ages 62 or older, and parents dependent who are financial dependents on their tax returns, who are dependents of their children. Unmarried children younger than age 18 or up to age 18 or 19 in full-time, if a full-time student or not yet graduated from high school, and age 18 or older and severely disabled. So that's kind of interesting. Former spouses ages 62 or older. Well, next page here. Your spouse may be eligible to 50% of your benefits if the marriage lasted at least 10 years, the two of you have been divorced at least 2 years, and the living spouse and the spouse is currently unmarried. So this brings to mind the Johnny Carson example. Johnny Carson was married 3 different times, 10 years each, to 3 different women, 10 years each. So each of his ex-wives, once they turned age whatever, 62, 66, whatever, 70, they were eligible to receive 1/2 of his Social Security benefit, whatever it was. Now, let's just say he's eligible for $2,000 a month, just for a number. Each one of those 3 ex-wives, former wives, could receive $1,000 a month, and it had absolutely no impact on his benefits or the other two's benefits. So, if you've been married, if you got married at 20 and you are married 4 or 5 times, you know, I guess, and you live old, you can get 4 or 5 spouses their Social Security. There's also divorced survivor benefits. So if you die, your ex-spouse may be eligible for benefits if the ex-spouse was collecting Social Security or disability insurance at the time of death. And again, the marriage lasted at least 10 years and not remarried prior to age 60. So the moral of the story, I guess, is if you're going to get married and get divorced, don't remarry, because you'll lose that. You'll at least lose that benefit. Maybe you can piggyback on to your new spouse's benefit. We'll be optimistic here. Same-sex marriages, as a result of the 2015 Supreme Court legalization, same-sex married couples are now eligible for Social Security benefits and survivor benefits. regardless of whether they were living in a state that previously did not recognize that. So, you know, just like anybody else, individuals in this situation can do that. Now, one thing I would highly, highly encourage you to do is when you have a moment, if you haven't already done that, I know this is more information at ssa.gov. Oh, I'll go to the next slide here. ssa.gov. Go to this site, and there are calculators there are applications, there are updates, but more important than anything, there is an estimator there, a customized estimator, in which you enter, you set up an account and you enter your Social Security number. And I don't know if you remember, we used to get these things in the mail around our birthdays. Like, you know, if you live to 66, you know, here you'll get $2,000 a month. Well, they don't mail that to us anymore. So you have to go online to get it. But it's very important to do that and go check that every year or two, so that you can incorporate that into your financial retirement plan. So that is the end of this presentation for the moment. One of the things I will share with you, I want to bring this over on the screen here, is if you want to see or learn more about topics like this, this is my website. It's BryantSikorsky.com. And from there, you can see that you can go to, different videos, different articles down here. You can also go to my, I'm sorry, before I forget this, you can go over here to the markets. You can see any publications that I've got or any events that I have upcoming. And lastly, you can go to my Facebook, which is, you can go to my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube channels. So there's my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and kind of last but not least, YouTube channel. And I just kind of cover that with you because you can see here that you can go there and you can watch any of the other videos that I've recorded and uploaded to my YouTube channel. Okay, so with that, I will say thank you very much. If you have any questions or you want to set up a phone or in-person appointment, just go to my website here, BryantSikorsky.com. There's my phone number, there's my email address, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have or set up a time to meet with you. So thanks so much for your kind hospitality, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Thanks.